Welcome to the CrossFit Alioth Unleashed podcast, where we discuss health and fitness, mindset and business with your host, Coach Lloyd. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Alioth Unleashed, where we post updates and teasers on our upcoming guests and podcasts. Okay, here we go, another episode of Alioth Unleashed, and today's a little bit special. I don't just have one guest or two, I in fact have three guests with me. And three lovely ladies. They've even gone out and done the makeup before coming in to do the podcast today, so they're all looking very glam. But it is three coaches from the gym. We've got Kaz to my left, and we've got Rach and Eik to my right. Good afternoon.
Happy to be here.
Are we all excited?
We are. We've been practicing.
Yeah, they've been practicing their speeches in the car, ready to go, warming up the vocal cords. We're just going to start by introducing yourselves, just very little intro. Don't be talking too much on the intro. We'll start with Kaz.
Okay.
So
I'm Karen. I'm from Sweden. I've been working at Alioth for about a year and a half. Before that, I was in Abu Dhabi. Been coaching CrossFit for about 7 years now, and been training CrossFit and competing for almost 10 years, which is a long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. So 10 for you in the Open this year, was it?
Yeah.
10 for you in the Open.
Yeah.
Currently doing that right now. Rach, hello.
I'm also in my 10th year in the Open. Oh, we sound old. I'm Rachel. I'm from the UK, but northeast England. I was in Hong Kong before I moved to Dubai about 4 years ago. Before that, Scotland, where I studied for a completely different degree, but started CrossFit there 10 years ago now, and that's where it's ended me up in Dubai in the desert.
And Eik.
Yeah, Rach and Eik, or just Eik, that's probably more than enough. I'm from Iceland. I lived in Denmark for 9 years before I moved to the UAE. I actually don't know which year it is in the Open. I didn't get like the medal thing.
Are you past 10? You're definitely past 10, right?
Past 12, yeah.
Oh, you deserve a medal.
How old are you?
34.
34? You sure?
No, born 88.
You do forget after 30, right?
Yeah, born 88, so
Okay,
turning
34.
35 this year. So next year I will be a master's athlete, I guess. Yeah, I've been coaching for about 15 years.
Damn.
And I started coaching CrossFit maybe 7 years ago when I moved to the UAE. Before that I just coached all kind of other stuff. Been to the games a couple of times.
Oh, she dropped that in early. She's dropped it in early.
Yes, girl.
Why
It's
not?
casual though.
It's very casual.
Yeah.
No, been to the games a couple of times. Competed as an elite athlete for 10 years. And I think I've done the Open 12. I'm going to count the first two as not my elite.
So it's lucky number 13 next year.
Maybe.
You're going to be masters next year. Yeah. Which is the 13th year, so there's definitely some suspicious behind that.
Maybe.
Right. Let's just forget about CrossFit. What was you doing before you found CrossFit, Kaz? What was you doing, like fitness-wise?
Fitness-wise, I just went to the gym, just did regular bodybuilding, I guess. I was considering going into like a little bit of bodybuilding, but it wasn't anything. I don't think back then they had like women's physique, which is probably what I was more interested in. They had either like bodybuilding or the bikini fitness class. So I was looking into doing that for a bit.
Where was that? Was that
in Sweden?
In Sweden?
Yeah.
I think that's quite rare, right? Because, I mean, we're going to discuss this, but for women's sort of fitness, they tend to stay away from what you started with.
Yeah.
A lot of women start fitness being some sort of cardio bunny and, get into all these little classes where you do, box jumps or whatever it might be, and just a lot of cardio.
Like body pump stuff.
So for you to say that, I didn't know that. That's pretty surprising.
Yeah. So I was looking into that because I think I've always been, like I need that little something that goal to strive for, to actually keep me sort of accountable. And so I was looking into that, and then the gym that I went to started offering CrossFit classes. So I was like, I'll just check this out. And got my first kipping pull-ups on the first try, and I was like, oh, I could actually be pretty good at this.
Yeah,
and then
because
just
you are strong.
Yeah. And then and I think also just like always being active as a kid, like climbing trees and always on the move. I think my body awareness was pretty good. So anyway, got into that, and then I was like, oh, maybe this is something that I should try a little bit more, and then that's how I got into it.
Never looked back since.
No.
Rach, any sort of bodybuilding or?
Definitely not bodybuilding for me.
No? What was it before
maybe I could
CrossFit?
go into that now. I've been surrounded by sport my entire life. So pretty much a little bit of everything since I was younger. My dad was a professional football player, so he is the one that pushed us all the time. Like we'd be going to just trying out every different sport. Ballet definitely was not for me. And it's still definitely not for me. I played like netball and did athletics at a national level when I was at school. Probably fell off the wagon a little bit when I went to university to study in Scotland.
Just study. That's why you fell off the wagon, because you studied too hard.
And then it was after university, when I graduated, I started to get a little bit more back into fitness. Running probably 5-10k even a day, like every day.
So you was one of those gym bunnies, cardio bunnies.
After that, and then that's when I started to do CrossFit. Like as soon as I got into CrossFit, because of my sporting background in the past as well, then it was pretty easy for me to pick up, because again, body awareness is already set.
I think that's a bit of a, what you two have in common. Ike, do you have the same sort of thing in common, where before CrossFit you had good body awareness, you did something, so it was pretty much easy for you to transfer over to CrossFit?
Yeah, I mean, I did all the sports. Like the rule in my family was that every semester you had to pick something that was like art, craft, or like music, and then you had to pick one like physical thing that you were gonna do. So you had to pick a sport. So whatever I would pick, I would have to do it for the entire like semester. So I did football, athletics, indoor athletic, outdoor, like track. I did pretty much everything, but I would have to stay, like I said, at least one full semester.
Damn.
And finish it.
Crazy. Is that just kind of like the Icelandic way, or is it just your family's way?
My family, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, community, like sports for kids is a really big thing. So like each neighborhood will have their own like sports community. So I think that's like all kids in the neighborhood do something, whether that's football or swimming or whatever. But there will be like a pool and a sports hall related to every neighborhood, and that's like
I feel like that's the same in the UK.
Yeah.
But you also have dedicated class times there.
Yeah. Dedicated
that
class
are just
time,
for PE all the time.
Yeah, and each year has their own like workout schedule and stuff. But like I competed in bodybuilding before I started.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, surely you can flash a picture.
I've seen photos of
Great
this.
photos.
So what we will do is, at this moment, we'll get the photos of Eik and
I don't
Kaz,
know. I'm gonna sell them.
and they
really
will definitely
expensive.
pop up
They're
on
not for
the.
free. They're not for free.
They're going to pop up on the YouTube, so make sure you are watching and not just listening, so you can see those photos of these two.
I studied to be a personal trainer, and then I was like, oh, this is actually silly. Like, I don't want to try out these methods with like completely aimless goal. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna test out what I've actually learned, like about nutrition planning and like the strength training. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a bodybuilding competition, and that ended then in me doing like at least 2. Probably a little bit of that. You have to finish the full semester kind of a mentality. I'm completely broken inside from this.
Wow. So we've all been doing some sort of fitness for a long time. So we've been brought up with fitness. It's been around, we see it, we do it, whatever it is, whether it's bodybuilding, ballet, or CrossFit.
I also only went to one.
And we've established
that. To finish the semester on that one.
Good.
We've established that we've obviously all done CrossFit a long time, right? Which is now obviously coaching at CrossFit Alioth. You've got the experience, you've worked for so many years doing CrossFit, you've done CrossFit for a long time, you're pretty much more or less athletes, if you will, and CrossFit's sort of your way of life. How do you train now? Like, how regular do you train, Kaz? Do you train pretty regular?
Yeah, I'd say I train pretty regular. I'd say I train between 4 and 6 days a week. Now, obviously, I've stepped down from competing at the level that I used to compete at. So I usually go off a little bit by feel. how my body feels. Some days I do 2 sessions, some days I just do the 1 session. Some days I'm just a little bit too busy with work and other commitments, and then I just take a rest day, and I feel perfectly fine just going a little bit by how I feel.
Yeah. How important is that for other people to take on board, like train, listen to your body, and like you said, go off feel? How important is that?
I think it depends on what your goals are.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the everyday person, I think that's pretty good. And I think that's pretty important. If you're a high level athlete, you sort of have to weigh up, okay, is this just because I don't feel like it, or I don't want to do it, or whatever, or am I just a little bit run down, whatever it might be. And there's also that fine line with everyday people thinking, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the day comes, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then you just sort of push it. So
yeah, I think that always depends on your training age as well.
I think
how much experience you have and how much you actually know your body.
Yeah, I think experience is a good one.
And also, like, I think I lost track. Sorry.
But I think there's so many different seasons of life. Like you said, like if you have the goal of achieving something, like you have to progressively overload. Like as someone who is to compete at elite level, like training was the one thing that I was going to get done that day. Like anything else could kind of wait because I had, the games waiting on the other end, and that was a very important goal to me. Whereas like my training right now, like I have all kinds of other things in a big transition period of my life, and then training is something that I do 3 to 5 times a week whenever I can fit it in, and that can be satisfying as well. It just depends on where you're kind of at with your life and goals.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we're all at a pretty similar point now, but we've also been training long enough that we can adjust where necessary and understand what to do at the same time.
So how hard would you say you train then, Rach?
Not as hard as I used to, but that's also, I'm also at a certain level where I can maintain where I'm at, and I'll kind of stick there unless I took like a very long period of time off. Like these skills don't just disappear because I'm not training for 4 to 6 hours a day. Like you've already ingrained that over the years that it should be able to stay as long as your movement is good. But my goals wise is just to stay like injury free.
I think it's interesting because as soon as I asked you, then you was like, not as hard as I used to. But I think for most listeners and people watching, you train pretty hard.
Like, but hard is a relative concept.
Agreed.
Like hard for one person, someone can look at my score in the last open workout and be like, oh, that must have been hard, but that was actually 85% cruising pace.
Yeah.
It didn't like strain me as such, and I just continued. It wasn't even sore the day after. Like hard is a very relative concept.
Yeah, because it's just not as hard as we used to, but it's still.
No, definitely not. Like, used to destroy myself with training. I don't actually know how productive it actually was to train, like you said, 4 to 6 hours a day. I don't know actually how productive that was for my goal. I question that a lot today. But like hard is such a weird thing because it's subjective and relative to the actual day and the person.
I think it's routine as well though. Like this is always going to be part of our life at the same time. Training will always be a big part of my life, even if it's to support another area at the time, but to keep healthy and keep moving and to like set a good example and be able to teach what we want to teach. It's important to still have that there.
I guess you 3 train pretty much differently to most people, like most women. How does your training usually look, Eik?
Currently or in the past?
No, let's just say current now. Let's go currently.
Currently, I have a program of strength training. It's like superset, usually between 2 exercises. I do like a leg day with like a squat and a push for the upper body. I do like a unilateral day, which is then one side of the body moving at a time, so lunges and single arm presses and stuff. And then I do like a pull day, which is then pulling off the ground and some kind of like a pull up stuff. And then I mix in whatever I want to do of like weightlifting if I want to do that. And then usually involves some kind of like a heavy breathing cardio stuff at the end.
Nice.
10 to 20 minutes.
I guess it comes down to what you said, Rach, with just routine, right? So you know what day that you need to be doing your leg day on, and if you have time, you can fit in other stuff, and it's just
right
finding.
Now, it really depends on what day I can actually fit it in, because I have a lot of other stuff that I'm kind of maneuvering around.
I mean,
I'm pretty flexible. Like, now I'm following the gym programming, so Dark Horse.
Get that in for Minho. Dark Horse programming. Give him a follow on Instagram.
But then with other responsibilities around that, I can at least look at the program and think if I need to change days around, then I can change days around.
It's lovely, because this conversation is going to just literally flow on to what I have next, and that's. I was thinking of this the other day when I was trying to make the notes, and it's different for you three or us as coaches than it is to normal people with normal jobs. Okay, so like for us, our life is fitness, training, and then we have to try and fit in what people would call normal life commitments, activities, or whatever it might be within our fitness. Our first thing comes for us is sort of fitness and health. We sort of base everything else around that. Whereas other people who might be listening, they have a full-time job, out of fitness, they might have kids, they might have other commitments, and what they're trying to do is fit in some sort of health and fitness within their crazy schedule, right? Would you agree?
No.
Yeah.
No? I mean, I think you're in between both, right? Whereas previously, I think you was an athlete, you was training 4 to 6 hours a day, like you just mentioned, and you made sacrifices, like you just mentioned. Like so.
But that's like values and goals again. Like,
agreed.
It completely depends on what it is. And sometimes if you have a full-time job and you're not getting paid for your fitness, I really question why people are spending 4 to 6 hours in the gym. It's like, you're not, like, if it's not your revenue generating activity, then why are you dedicating like what almost accounts to a full-time job to this?
So how many hours do you reckon people should be doing?
I mean,
to be productive.
Fits your goals and activities. So like most people.
What's a normal standard person? Like,
normal standard person. The amount of fitness that gets you fit but doesn't take away from your quality of life with your family and work. So anyone who is training so hard, even though it's just 1 hour a day that they sit in the office and they have like really tired and groggy for the remaining time of the day, they're doing too much, like per my definition. You need to fit in the amount of intensity and training that still allows you to function in the stuff that you need to function in, whether that is the context of your family, your work, your other obligations that are actually important to you as well.
Yeah.
I also think like something you touched on earlier, like quality over quantity. Like we've all in here trained so much. You do the 4 to 6 hours a day, you have a break in between, you're like, oh, I don't really want to do this next session, but I have to, that whole thing. And like now when I've taken a little bit of a step back and I do that one session, an hour and a half, and I leave and I feel like that was actually a really good session. And like I feel good, and that's when I have more energy to do other things, and I'm not just like sort of surviving, but like, okay, well, I have to do this. And obviously it's very different when you train for a competition like that. But I mean, other people have other commitments.
Yeah, but I think that's where it comes in to like writing down your goals and your priorities and actually seeing those as viable like topics to what you want your life to look like. Because do you want to spend it with your family and support your career and so on, or be drained for that? Like when you see it written down, then I don't think there's that much stress around the gym. As long as you're able to then stay healthy and do what you want to be able to do.
It's like being aware of where you're spending your kind of energy. Because if it's depleting you completely so that you don't have the energy that you want for the other things in life, then is it really worth it? It's kind of like if you have 100% budget, you can't spend 80% on one subject. Like you have to kind of allocate the energy in different buckets.
I feel like we've all made the shift. Like you've all trained for something, whether it was the CrossFit Games or competition, or you used to train harder. And we've all made that shift now from doing that to now fitting in life around training and work. So what have you done differently apart from train less, Rach?
Done differently?
Yeah, apart from obviously training less. You're making sacrifices?
Yeah, honestly, just having everything written down in front of me. What am I okay with hitting in the gym now? Like, what are the numbers I'm all right with? And how does that support my goals outside of the gym? Like, how can I then not be drained to put more of like my energy, my mental energy into something else, or not be injured to say go horse riding? That actually having them written down and in front of me has really helped support that, to go, oh no, you know, that's actually okay not to be snatching 95 kilos, because where is that actually going to get me next year?
Yeah, I had to also redefine the benchmarks for success. Like, what is a successful session for you? Because if you're used to working out longer and you're used to having that feeling of like being absolutely like drained, you kind of think that that is what you need to do with your training, but it's actually not. So redefining like the benchmarks for success, that can be like numbers that you want to hit, or like the feeling that you have when you leave the gym, or, you know, other things that you want to fit in.
Yeah, I just think it takes the stress away from it completely. Having that in front of me has gone, oh, it's actually okay.
Yeah.
But it took me a while, sorry Lloyd, it took me a while to be okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have stuff written up. I've just tried to be a little bit nicer to myself and realize that there is more to it than fitness. We all here love fitness, but I had to like come to terms with, it's just fitness. It's meant to make me feel good. And fitness, fast fitness with friends, right? Yeah. And it's there to make me feel good and to keep me energized. And like, I want to look forward to it. So it took me a little while though. While I'm there now, it took me a while to sort of be okay with it. I don't know if you girls agree, but I had a bit of a hard time to come to terms with like, okay, I'm not going to potentially be at the same numbers that I used to be, but it's fine. It's fine.
I guess, seeing as you've come to that sort of conclusion, now you can sort of enjoy your life outside the gym. Like Rach just touched upon her horse riding, and guessing that you two as well obviously have other things that you do from outside the gym, apart from CrossFit, whether it's horse riding and so on. So apart from horse riding, Rachel, what else do you get up to outside the gym?
Tell us.
Well, I can even just
tell us what you can.
No, but then I can touch on, say, I've just travelled and been able to go snowboarding just before the Open, whereas for the past, 6 years when I've been taking that season seriously, then I wouldn't go because I want to try and stay away from injuries. Whereas that opens up so many more doors to just freedom in life. So yeah, being able to just do whatever you want to do at the same time, but that's also why I will stay training, because it allows me to be able to do that.
Agreed. Eik?
What I do?
Yeah, what are you doing outside the gym?
All sports outside!
Because apparently you're so busy and find it hard now to train in the gym, so you must have a lot going on.
I do. It's not training related.
We only have 45 minutes left.
Okay,
just bear that in mind.
No. I mean, I am like building a company and like making sure that I am settled for the future. So that's definitely very consuming on my time. I do help a lot of people. I do coach a lot of people remotely, so I do have a lot of like office admin related to that, and then currently I have a lot of life admin related to a relocation. So that's definitely time consuming. And then I just really like to go do things outside. Like after being closed in a box, like literally a CrossFit box, for so many years, for like I said, 4 to 6 hours, it was weekends, public holidays, like training for the CrossFit Games, no one cares what days it is, like Christmas, you still go get your 2 sessions in on Christmas Day. Then now, if I have a chance to do my training outside and not doing it inside a fluorescent lit gym, then I will definitely do that. So that's kind of what takes priority more than the actual in the gym training.
I guess that's it. I guess you've got a lot of, like they say, plates spinning at once, and you've just got to prioritise and, you know, spin this plate a little bit and then go off and spin another one, and just make sure that all them plates are balancing on your sticks.
A lot of project management going on.
Yeah, sounds fun.
It's fun.
Kaz?
I just hang out with my dogs.
Kaz just hangs out with the dogs.
You do well though, there's 20 minutes.
What else do you do?
Yeah, I know, right? 20 minutes in, I'm with my dogs.
You're walking dogs now, no? Or what is it you're doing? You're training dogs, walking dogs?
Yes, I work together with a dog trainer. And basically just like sort of shadow her, because I just want to learn as much as I can about dogs and dog training, and just want to be around that environment. So I do that a little bit on the side. Otherwise, I just spend a lot of time with my own dogs. And yeah, that's about it. I don't really do much.
That's
I
cool.
train and work
Stay
and hang
away
out.
from the mall at all costs.
And I stay away from the mall at all costs because I cannot hack it.
I'll teach you.
Please.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
on a weekday.
Good. I think we're all have got like a nice balance of life and work, and we're sort of happy with that. Has anyone got any advice for people that don't have that sort of balance? Like one piece of advice could you give someone just to like, listen?
Write up your goals and where you're spending your time.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that are super frustrated about either the result in one area or whatever it is, write up your values, write them down so that you can see them in front of you. Okay, let's say that family is a huge value of yours, but you're only spending 20 minutes with your kids before you tuck them into bed. Like, then something needs to change. Like, you have to, like, there has to be an alignment between where you're actually spending your time and what you say that is important to you.
What do you say to those people that, they're doing all these things, but yet they just can't find the time to come and do a training session? They can't find time to go to the gym because they're so busy. Yeah, they have these values of spending time with their family, they're doing this, but one of the values could be health and fitness, but because other values are sort of taking over, they can't find the time to train. But
if you get really, really honest with yourself and you put those values, like let's say that you have 10 competing things for your attention and you actually write them down, something is going to be more important than others. And if you say that health and fitness is number one, but you're only spending 30 minutes a week on your fitness, then you have to then down prioritize some of the other things that is consuming your time and make time for that thing. Like, we all have the same amount of time. Like, there's not like any one of us has something like exclusive amount of it.
Yeah, it would be great if there's 2 more hours in the day, but there is not.
I would still probably sleep.
Yeah, we'd all sleep.
Sleep less, maybe. Well, still get your 8 hours, but some people can sleep a lot longer. So maybe get up an hour earlier from bed and just go for that brisk walk, or go to a 5:30 a.m. CrossFit Alioth session, whatever it might be.
Or a 7:30 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, they're worse. But
No,
it is the best class to coach, by the way. Right, so there is sort of like a stigma around women fitness, and you hear a lot of ridiculous things out there, and we've all heard women shouldn't lift weights because they get bulky. What else have we heard along those lines? Kaz, you heard anything along those lines? Or anything stupid? Or anyone else?
A lot.
Yeah. Give us one.
All day, every day.
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Or what has someone told
right
you?
now, but
Any of you two girls have heard anything?
I mean,
How do I
I've
get down
heard
the list?
stuff. I've heard stuff like every now and then people go and they touch you and they go, oh, I should be a little bit careful. It's like, yeah, but I've got muscles, but I'm not gonna beat you up. It's fine.
Why not?
My favorite bit is when people are like, oh, I don't want to start strength training because I'm going to end up looking like you. And I'm like, don't worry, it's not going to happen.
You'd be surprised how many times people have said that to us.
Yeah.
But people have got to realise that you girls have trained so many years. Like, you started off with bodybuilding,
thing.
you've trained for 15 plus years. If they start to lift weights, they think that they're going to look differently in a couple of weeks, whereas that's not the case. This takes hard work, dedication.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of a little bit of both, because you also get people who approach you, they want to look like you, and it's really difficult to explain to them that it's 15 years of almost a full-time job that's gone into it. But I also don't think, like, having done bodybuilding and helping a lot of different clients with like body composition, you would be surprised with how little you have to do to achieve results, as long as all your results are kind of aligned with what you say you want it to do.
Yeah, agreed.
I also don't think that people, and especially women, realize how much you need to eat to build muscle.
Yeah. Do you eat a lot, Kaz?
No, not as much as I would like to. But I have previously, I know Eik's been in a similar boat where you're just like force feeding yourself to try to. Eik would sit and shove just rice and just be absolutely miserable. But like, you need to eat to build muscle. You need to eat to recover and
perform.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been miserable eating.
But that was like my biggest struggle with training as much as I did, was actually eating. Like, I was on so many calories a day.
It's probably like one of my earliest memories from moving to the UAE with Eik.
I wasn't allowed to go to bed until I finished all my meals.
So,
But that's never the advice that people want to hear.
No.
I think
No.
like we've all been in the position as well where we haven't been eating enough and you just get completely drained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get drained, like your periods stop, your hair's falling out. You have to eat to get any better.
Yep.
Even if you're doing loads of cardio.
Yep.
Whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, you have to be able to eat.
Yeah.
But nobody really likes to hear that advice.
No.
So
That's-
why do you think we hear these sort of things? And you just think it's like lack of education? Like, what's going on? Why are we hearing these stupid
I
things?
think it's always a mix of, like, there are certain things you have to do in order to achieve certain goals. But things get really mixed up when someone wants to achieve one goal, let's call it goal A, but they keep applying methods that's for goal B. So like if you are trying to get stronger and better in the gym, like in the CrossFit gym, but you also want to be doing keto at the same time because you heard that that's great for your mental clarity at work, that advice isn't meant for you because you have a different set of circumstances. So when you apply advice B for achieving goal A, then you're not going to see the results. So I think like this whole like low carb, like don't eat too much and like 1400 calories a day, that it's not made for people who want to work out hard, lift heavy weights and do it often. So it's just mixing things up really.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be in the same category.
And if there's anyone confused, then you can feel free to reach out to any of these three and ask them about nutrition, training, and anything else. Just click their Instagrams here, and here. That might work. So why is it though that women still are avoiding lifting weights? I mean, the majority of women.
You know what
There's obviously people around us that love to do it, but the majority of women are avoiding it. Why?
I feel like it started off at a point where like society was telling us that like women should look a certain way. Now I feel like that there is a big shift where like society is actually saying that strong and fit and healthy is way more attractive than this skinny lanky that used to be idolized years ago. But what I don't think has caught up with that is the nutrition part. So now people look at Instagram, they follow these Instagram pages and of these muscular, really fit women. But then there's not, so people are aspiring to look like that, but there's no one actually saying that like, this is how you should eat for it. People still think and demonize
I think there's
carbs
there's
and
a very minimal group of people who have like practiced that and studied it and know what they're talking about, but there isn't that many studies or reviews done on women and how you should feel to perform. Like it's progressing, but it's very small.
So what do we need to do to change it then? Like, are we doing the right things, or do we need to educate other women, other people? Like, what do we need to do to change it?
Like, what's her name? Stacey?
Yeah,
Simmons?
Stacey Simmons.
Yeah. So like basically, like women are not small men, and like most of the education that there is or research that there is about nutrition is done on male college students. So that's like the research that is currently like available, and like women aren't small men, so like it's not the same that applies to women. And then it's really difficult because like, okay, let's say that we wanted to just open our books, but for someone to look over my shoulder that I've been doing this for 12 years and what I'm eating now to just maintain what I've already built up is not the same as what they need to do to be able to achieve the results.
Yeah.
So I think like sometimes, you know, if you open the books and start sharing like what a typical day in my nutrition looks like, and this is why I never do it, is because my body is not your body and we're not going to need the same thing. So because it's so individualized, it's also get really difficult to start to try to like inspire by sharing your stuff because it's not the same.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's very hard for other people to then just cut through the bullshit from what they see. But I kind of disagree with the statement now that there's not that many women lifting weights anymore, because wherever I look, that they're much more acceptable.
It's better.
Even in Alioth itself, Like I think our membership base it's over 50% female now, and I've never been in a gym before that was like that, but it's really inspiring to see like 90% of the class sometimes is female. Like, and you really want to get better.
Or 100% females if you're
Great.
going at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean though. Like, I feel like that side, like the fitness side of things have changed for women, where like women want to strive for that and they want to be strong, etc. But it's still that lack of education, I guess, when it comes to nutrition, because people are still scared of carbs or use cheat days and that sort of thing. So I think in the fitness aspect, we've come a long way.
Yeah. I think once you sort of get them in and you start teaching these women to lift weights correctly, then we can sort of drip feed them the nutrition bit, which I think is what we're doing as a gym now as well, is, you know, now we've got the females in, now we can tell them what to do properly, how to do it, how to maintain this and get stronger and fitter. So
but I think we're all responsible. It's like, it's a culture. Like, it's not necessarily like teaching someone how to do something, but like slowly letting down the guards and these like strange beliefs about carbs, I guess. That's probably the main thing.
So
that is the main thing.
For women out there a little bit confused, they want to start lifting weights, how often should they be lifting weights? How heavy? How many reps? Like, tell people.
Entirely depends on your goals.
And on their past.
They just
as well.
got to
If
start. They just got to start doing something,
If
right?
they haven't been doing anything, it's just getting into the gym.
Yeah.
That's your first step to go.
Yeah, would you suggest going straight into the gym or find a coach, or what would you suggest? Again,
I
don't say it
would-
depends on the goals.
Personally, I would have loved it if I had a coach from the get-go. So I was moving correctly, and then I wouldn't have picked up so many injuries as I had done to begin with. But yeah, it depends. If you are wanting to just get fit, lean, or stronger.
I think that's
etc.
another sort of stigma with women as well in training, or people in general just lifting weights, like injuries. Like CrossFit did have a bad rep of not doing CrossFit because I'm going to get injured and so on and so on and so on. Like, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah, but it's developed so much as a sport as well. I think it's developed, and everybody's coaching skills have also risen. Like, you don't that often go into a gym anymore and people don't really know what they're talking about.
So you just got to find the right.
I've been doing this for 10 years, yeah. You have to find the right gym, but I've also been into a lot of incredible gyms with great coaches that if you're under their wing, then you'll be okay.
Good.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you are starting out, then finding someone who can teach you that doesn't necessarily need to be CrossFit from the get-go. So if you've never trained before, just learning how to squat, press, deadlift, exactly. You can do that pretty much anywhere, and I think the most important part is that it's convenient in your life, because we talked about not having the time to exercise. Like, if your CrossFit gym is an hour drive away, like, don't try to do that. You're not going to be successful, because you're going to have to expose yourself to like at least 3 sessions a week to be successful at like starting something new. And so I would pick something that's really convenient, fits your budget, and that you can continue to do for a long time, because no one ever got fit from training 3 times in 1 week. It's more like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, but try not to do it on your own.
I did have a little chuckle then, because there are members that come to the gym who live in Sharjah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just travel to
But
they
you
just travel to the
can
gym. It's
do
crazy.
it both at the same time. So like if you started from fresh, you've never done it before, that becomes too big of an obstacle. If you're well and truly into the CrossFit scene, then you can maybe get yourself doing it. But doing new things and hard things at the same time is usually a really poor combination.
Yeah. Do you think that women care too much about what they look like? Kaz?
Yes.
Is this good or bad? Explain yourself. Why do you think women do? Because I think compared to men, you're right. I think they do.
Yeah.
Don't we all care about what we look like?
I mean,
Yeah, we do.
Find
But I
me
do
someone
think
who
care
like,
too much. You care too much.
What's too much?
No, but I do think like, I mean, yeah, I do think society, and like, especially now as well, like social media, like it puts a lot of pressure on women. I feel like I've sort of grown out of that a little bit. Like, but if I just think back to like when I was a teenager, I thank the angels that there was no social media when I was a teenager, because it must be extremely hard as a teenager, as a girl, to see all these body images and filters and this and that.
Yeah, especially now, right? It's changed from when you was younger to now. It's completely different. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm old.
I am old. Yeah, so I definitely think that a lot of it has to do with social media today, and also like just, I think society is shifting a little bit, but I do think social media is not great in that sense.
Yeah, I have a strict no filter policy. I don't put
for your Instagram, you mean?
Yeah, luckily we have a
You don't even
professional
use...
photographer in the gym, so
Shout out to
I can't go through 100 photos a week and pick the best one, which is obviously curated at the same time. But if I'm posting a story or something, then I won't choose to use a filter and like completely deform what I feel is deform my own image or self. Yeah, and like we choose what to be a part of at the same time.
Yeah.
In other media related things.
So you just think it's down to social media then?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think today, yeah.
Maybe a little bit unpopular opinion, but what is wrong if your goal is to look good naked? Like,
Nothing.
there's nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all.
So if that is your goal, then,
Yeah.
peace with you.
Yeah, well, we all want to feel good.
Naked,
Yeah.
We all want to feel good.
But then, there's people that, might have found life a little bit more, might have started a new job, and then not looking as good as they have done, and they're going the other way, not the right way, they're going the wrong way. They still look good, but then they're hard on themselves. They're like, I didn't want to put extra pounds on.
I don't know. I think that all just comes down to like confidence, and then in comparison, like how much are you looking at other people to what you're looking at? Look like as yourself, and how comfortable you are going out dressed the way that you are. I
think comparing yourself to others is massive as well. Like especially again on social, FIFA joy, especially on social media or people in the gym. Just like I'm always telling people in the gym, like especially now because the Open's on, they wanting to do the Open again because this person got that score, which is a couple more reps than you, and don't compare yourself to other people because
I think
like
both
you just said,
looking
FIFA joy
naked and your score in the Open, it's kind of like it's really hard for some people to reflect on the results that they got relative to how things have been going. So it's like, yes, you got the new job, you got the promotion, you're now working, with more responsibilities, and you gained 3 kilos. Like, to be happy about the way that you look relative to the effort that you put in, to be happy with your Open score relative to the effort that you put in. That you kind of, instead of being super, like, it's okay to be dissatisfied with where you're at.
I think everyone's a little bit dissatisfied with where they're at, right? We all want to improve, we all want to get better. If it wasn't, it'd be,
It's not especially the Alioth community, everyone wants to get better at something. And if we didn't feel bad about where we're at, we wouldn't have any reason to make any improvements or changes.
Yeah.
So it's not dangerous to be dissatisfied with where you're at. But instead of saying, I'm fat, say, I'm not where I want to be physically because I have put this work into it. If I want to change that, I could do X and Y. And then it also kind of puts the power back in your hands. So whether you're unhappy with your Open score and you're like, oh, I wanted to get 3 more muscle ups, and you review it and they're like, oh no, I've only been to 2 sessions a week in the gym. I mean, you have something to kind of a lens to put on.
Yeah, I think we all have a sort of our insecurities as well, and I just think it's how we deal with them. Or do we just sit down, really look at ourselves and think, right, this is what I'm insecure about, this is what I can do to change it?
I think so, but then that's who you surround yourself with at the same time. And social media can be a vice for that when you're comparing yourself, but it also depends on your friends group. I'm very lucky to have a fantastic group of friends who are supportive and don't really comment on what your body image and stuff is anyway, because we also have a view on those comments. But I know groups of girls, or I have clients myself that their friends will even comment on how they look or how they're dressed and what they're doing in the gym. And that plays a big role and impact.
So have you girls had anything said to you previously, whether it's recently or years ago, that someone said something to you and it's sort of stayed with you up until now, or for a long time, it's made you change your behaviour or the way you train or the way you act? Kaz, have you got any?
I definitely have.
I know
I
Rach has
definitely
one.
have in the past.
Yeah, go on.
But then that's
Tell
also made me not have the friends that I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
are
I
you
have
going to
a
share
very
what they
good
said?
circle. It's constant though, isn't it?
Just tell us one. Just tell us.
No, it's like why are you spending so much time in the gym?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to look like that? Oh, you don't fit into dresses anymore. Why would you want to show up like this? No, it's fine. I choose to.
I don't know, like I can't really pinpoint anything specific, but like this is probably the healthiest environment I've been in terms of like my own training, other people's training, support system. Like this is probably the healthiest gym environment I've been in all different aspects. So that's pretty cool. We should take a lot of pride in that, I think.
You think you got to choose your friends wisely then, because they say like, you know, you are what your like first closest 5 friends are or something like that. So do you think like
Luckily I only have 3.
and they're all sat here and they're all sat here on the table. Do you think like you know you got to choose who you're spending time with wisely, Eik?
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, I think it's yes and no, because if you only surround yourself with the people who have the same opinions as you, then you're all gonna just have the same opinions.
Okay, so
sometimes it can really be helpful to have someone that looks in from
I think
different
not just like the
perspective.
same opinions,
Yeah.
but
it's not the same as you. I think they say like
their values or how they speak to other people.
like better than you. Like if you want to be rich, like spend time with rich people. Like if you think you're rich and you're well off, like spend time with like 4 other people that are stupidly more rich than you.
Trying to hang out with them.
Yeah, but it helps, you know. Like it's not just the amount of money they have or going to places. It's the mindset that they have and so on and so on. So
absolutely, and then sometimes,
innovation
like,
ideas.
You'll recognize like we hang out mostly with people who also train, so it can be really hard to understand the point of view from a person who doesn't train, because you're like but everyone spends this amount of time in there. Whereas like I think I really enjoy, and I try to make sure to include like very, very different polarized people in my network to kind of like keep in touch with reality or like the other side of things. So like I love when people are like, oh, you shouldn't train, like I don't want to look like why would you want to look like that? And I'm like, I don't want to look like you. like it goes both ways. My favorite bit is like couch potatoes that are like, oh, like I would never want to have a 6-pack. I was like, probably never going to either.
I think for us, because we're cultured as well and we like to help people and we are helping a lot of people, I think that it is good to just like, give a hand and just let people come on our journey with us, whether it's like doing a hikes and so on. Like for someone just to come on the hike for the first time and introduce them to fitness and then just lead the way a little bit, like lead by example, which is one of Alioth's values.
Yeah, but that is our job as a coach.
Yeah.
No matter if that's what you set out to do or not, like you have to be aware of that what you're going to do.
I also think that's about being a good person as well. Like I care about some friends in the gym or friends outside the gym, and I know that somebody's not maybe doing fitness as much as they used to be or they should be doing, and just being a good person is be like, right, okay, then let's just get you in the gym, have a free 1 hour's PT session with me, and let's go from there. So I think as coaches that first. We have that sort of job, but like you said, we are all humans, and it's good to help other people. I think that women do support other women well, like better than us men do. It's a lot easier, I think, for women to do.
I think you would be surprised.
Yeah.
Well, it might look like that because of the
environment
like that we have created in
Agreed.
Alioth.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you would be surprised if you took a sneak peek into other cultures.
Yeah.
I think it's an exceptionally welcoming and supportive community that has been created at Alioth.
Yeah, and that's what I was touching on.
The norm.
But even in that gym of ours, I still feel like women do it better than men.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's almost like everyone has like a little hype woman. It's great.
I think Tanner's the hype man for the men, like, or the women as well. Like he does hype them up. But I think
he just hypes fitness, doesn't he?
He does. I think it's good that people are making these comments to members that just lift them up or just make the day or make the week. And I see it all the time from you guys and just members. Like there was a member of the gym telling me the other day that she made it her goal this year just to compliment people more, and she's doing that in the gym and she's making friends and people are more nice to her, and You know, she's loving complimenting
but
people.
it
I just love that.
It pays nothing to be nice, but
agree.
it can change someone's day completely. Like, the gym is less than 10%, hopefully, of like where you spend your time during the day. You have a whole life outside of that. We don't know what's happening. That's why I think, like, when someone's late for class, please don't be late for class.
These three was late for my podcast, by the way.
But you didn't give us 20 burpees to do. And I think that's like an important thing to do when you come in. Like, we don't know what has happened outside those doors. We don't know what phone call you've been on or why you've been late. Like, you shouldn't get punished for coming into the gym late. Like, we're just happy that you've been there, and that is a supportive side of it as well. Like, there shouldn't be any punishment to fitness.
I think as a coach, it is our job to sort of make, you know, most people's that 1 hour the best hour of the day when they come in the gym.
I also think, like, this is obviously, you're not welcome to the ladies' hours, but I think also, and I think you girls will agree, like, the community that the ladies themselves have created in that 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. gap is incredible.
You've just answered my next question.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, some of them knew each other from before, some of them sort of have like mutual friends, some of them are brand new, have never done this sort of training. And then, like, if you look back to what it was a year ago to where it is now, and no one really is bothered about what they look like. They all want to chase numbers and times and performances, and they walk up to each other and say, oh, you should put this weight on instead of this, like, you can do it. And it's incredible. These ladies are incredible. And like, when we talk about women supporting women, perfect example.
So get yourself to a CrossFit gym, basically.
I do say
that will certainly help. That will certainly help.
Yeah, but I think it's
come to CrossFit Alioth.
Going to the, like, I mean, it depends on the gym, but if you go to a regular gym and everyone has their headphones in, no one talks together, and you just like side-eye the person next to you what they're lifting, then that's obviously not a very positive environment. So at least get yourself a gym buddy, someone that you can actually start creating this culture with, and I'm pretty sure if you find one, then you can find two, and then you can find more.
I think, like, we're also all very open to doing fitness is doing fitness. Like, it doesn't have to be doing CrossFit.
No.
Like, choose anything that's just going to keep you happy and accountable at the same time.
Agreed.
But like, we go to the typical Globo gym or bodybuilding gym as well in our spare time if we want to do other sessions. We also quite know what we're doing pretty well and spend a lot of other time in group classes or around, like, socializing with people in the gym. So there's a balance there, but yeah, you're right. Get someone to either go with or just find something that keeps you happy and you're going to keep doing it. Stay injury free, supports everything else you're going to do.
So you think some sort of like fitness with a friend, or whether it's going to a class like gym where you actually talk to people, some sort of fitness like that helps build friendships, relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. I've found so many of my best friends now around the whole world that because of a gym. And it also helps when you travel a lot. It's one of the first things I'll do when I actually travel is go to a CrossFit box, and people, from an outside perspective, that sounds really sad, but it's the first place I can find, like, local people who know where there's good coffee and food. Yeah. What more do you want to know when you travel?
Yeah, this
go
is
to
true.
the gym first thing, just for that.
Literally, it's also what I do.
Oh, there's actually this event on at the weekend, you should go. So I think that's also the community aspect that you just don't think about.
Yeah. What are your relationships like with the women in the gym then, Kaz? Like, in general? Like, is it a mixture between professional and...
Yeah, like, I don't spend a lot of time with members in general outside of the gym. A little bit by choice, and it's just, like I said, I don't do anything. I just hang out with my dogs.
But you have a good relationship with these females.
I do have a good relationship with the ladies, I think, or with the women at the gym. And I feel like I'm a person that they feel comfortable, like, coming to with whatever issues they have. If they've had a phone call, or if it's something that they can't do, what can I scale it to, blah, blah, blah. So I do feel like they actually take to me as a coach and as a person, which is what I want everyone, female, male, whatever, to do. But I do think generally I have a good relationship with the women.
Do you girls feel like the same? Like, it's not strictly professional where like they can't come to you about anything else, right? It's like,
yeah, well, I
there's
guess
some
like
sort of
we want
mixture
them to a certain extent. Like we need to know about their lives as, say, from more of a personal training aspect as well. Like you genuinely care about these people. You get to know them.
You're invested
see,
in them, right?
yeah, you're super invested. You see their wins. You see their struggles, and you also want to understand their struggles. So, for example, if someone's just had a kid, or they have a 4-year-old that isn't sleeping, is struggling at school, they're not going to be able to train the same when they come in.
On the note
So
of
you
kids,
want to know those things.
my one of my ex-clients, Big Rossi, has just had a little boy yesterday. So
Oh, really?
congrats on the little one.
Mabrouk.
Thought I'd get that in there. It's gonna be next in one of my podcasts, so he'll be happy about that.
Plugs.
Do you have anything to say on that, Eik?
No, I think, yeah, like professional but also intimate relationship. Like I mean, like get to know people.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get to know whatever people want to share with us, but you know, more often than not, then it is quite personal, the stuff that people come to you with and the problems that we kind of try to solve within the four walls of the gym.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say good relationship.
Which is nice because it's like it's their safe space.
It is.
At the same time.
Do you girls do the same backload? Do you share things with your clients that, you know, because if they give a little bit, do you give a little bit? Like, or do you just keep yourself like strictly professional? Like, do you tell them stories that maybe you don't tell them any other people? Or is it just depend on the person? Like one client you might not be able to speak to like that, and one client you will. And
I don't know, I can definitely speak to them all like that as well.
So you do share.
But,
you do share things apart from, you know, just.
Yeah, well, we spend a lot of time with these people at the same time, and it kind of, I feel like sharing some personal experiences just normalizes things. Like
helps that bond as well, right?
We're human as well, and sometimes we're put on a pedestal because people are coming to the gym to get better at fitness, to get better at CrossFit, and wow, you can do a muscle up and stuff. But at the end of the day, we still go home and look after our dogs and pay our bills and like sometimes pay bills.
If we get paid on time.
Life. Yeah.
Drop that in there as well for James.
I think it's only like
it's a very nice environment to be in.
Yeah, it's a very relaxed environment as well. Like it's not like I don't think any one of us feel forced to get personal because someone else gets personal, but it's just like just a natural conversation, a natural relationship, more so with some than others, but like we're surrounded by great people every day. So I think that give and take just comes naturally.
Yeah, but, and you have to have this relationship with people for them to like trust in you and be comfortable. Yeah, you have boundaries there that you don't share all your personal details, but people want to be comfortable there at the same time. And it's also a skill to be able to communicate well and still get people through a good workout at the end of the day. Like achieve their goals at the same time.
You obviously all have a lot of clients in the gym, both male and female clients. Do you treat your female clients different to your male clients, or just the same?
Oh, I don't think I treat any two clients the same.
Yeah.
Those are two women or two men or man and a woman. Like I think it's a very individual approach to every single one.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree on that.
Just depends on the individual, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, background, goals, whatever.
Yeah, but
whatever person they are as well. Everyone's different,
because
right?
There's a skill out there, I'm not sure what it's called, but I've been complimented it before, like no matter who I interact with, whether it's a person who's seen as, you know, like, who's, let's say, mega rich, mega important, or you've got somebody who's just an average Joe, a certain skill would be able to treat these two the same, no matter like where they're from, what they do. So it's a certain skill to have. So like, it's interesting how you say that you'd never treat someone the same.
Yeah, but it, like I treat everyone the same technically, but also individually. So like whether it is a royal that walks in through the door or anyone else, they would get the same treatment.
But I
Like,
think
you would
that's
get
why
the
people
same
come
amount
to
of
us at the
cues,
same
you would
time,
get
though.
the same everything. Like, but then on the other side, like if this person is really good at squatting, I'm not gonna treat everyone the same and give everyone a tips on squatting. So I would, give them individual attention, but treat everyone the same. If that makes sense.
Go on, Rach, what were you going to say?
No, I think that's why people come to us at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah. They don't want to be treated differently.
No.
Like, they're treated that way at work, depending on where they are. But, they come for a purpose and to feel better. So, yeah.
I think one thing that you three do well, and that is, again, I bring that value up, lead by example. Okay, so you do this pretty well by obviously leading the lifestyles that you live. Do you feel some sort of pressure by trying to lead by example, or you just kind of like go with it and it's just part of your life?
I don't feel any pressure. No.
I really try my best to not ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So whether that is, working out in and around my own busy schedule or whatever else, if I'm helping people build boundaries so that they have a more happy life, then I also need to be the one who is good at setting boundaries, and I fully try to live that through and through. So I wouldn't ask anything of neither my clients or other people that I wouldn't be able to kind of live up to.
You think you do a good job of leading by example, Rach?
Yeah, I think so. Look, exactly the same. I have my own expectations of myself, and then that is on other people as well. Like, I don't hold expectations on other people, but to the same, I wouldn't ask anything of them that I wouldn't do.
Well, I just said no. I feel a bit dumb now. But,
no pressure. Super calm.
No, but it's not like I'm tiptoeing around things that I do, thinking, "Oh my God, people are gonna look at me, and what are they gonna think?"
I need to do this because of this.
Yeah, and
but we genuinely enjoy what we do.
This is true.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's not very.
Not all
I
the
feel
time.
like it's not hard to.
No, but and I also think that my main thing, because I have struggled a lot with balance in a couple of different aspects of my life, and so now all I'm just trying to do, I guess, to lead by example, but not really thinking that I do it, is I just try to live my life so it's balanced for me. And that could be going out for food every now and then, or if I don't feel like training, because I do feel a bit beat up, I didn't sleep great, it's fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I hope that people look to me and think, oh, that's I look up to her because of how well she can manage whatever it is. But I don't tiptoe and think, oh my God, okay, I need to lead by example, therefore I can't do A, B, or C.
Actually, I think I actually post. I probably don't post that much on social media, but I post more than I would actually like, because I would like other people to see that I have a normal life. So
Can you just answer my next question? It's good. Yeah.
We're pretty good at
this.
Carry on.
Yeah, even if I'm having a meal out, or if we're going for brunch,
Or just a donut.
Just a donut.
Donut on Thursday meetings.
That's more than the Thursday. I was going to say, I definitely have more sweet treats than once a week. Or, I don't know, doing something general as washing my car. I try to post about these things a little bit more often, so people know kind of how your life goes, and that it's okay to have a life.
You are normal.
Yeah, and we're normal, and we're not eating strict all the time. We're not just training all the time.
Yeah, I think that after 10 years of sharing a lot of my personal life, I got really tired of sharing about my personal life, and I've definitely taken a huge step back in terms of how much I am sharing, because I just really like to be able to not
live
have
life in
to
peace.
share. Yeah, it's really weird to have a public eye into your life at all times, and I mean, obviously it's not stalking if you put it out there, but it got to a point where it just got really weird for me to always have someone kind of looking over my shoulder in my private life.
Was this when you was training hard and you was a games athlete and you had all these followers?
I mean, I had a lot of sponsors, I had a lot of followers, I had a lot of like obligation. It was a part of being a full-time athlete is to share almost every detail of your life because people are interested, and I think that's just something that I don't do anymore.
Did you enjoy it at the time or not? No. Do you feel like you just had to do it
aspects of it, but I also kind of like didn't necessarily enjoy all of it either. And I really feel like social media, you can use it intentionally or not so intentionally, and you can kind of like, you know, there is a lot of manipulative ways that some people use their social media, and that's kind of what I want to put a big distance between myself and that way of using socials.
But like, I've always had this sort of for myself idea that, I mean, I do post compared to you girls, I do post quite a lot on my stories. It's my dog, it's training, it's this and that. But I would also, and I've always said this about myself, if someone who knows me really well, like you guys, if you go on my social media and you look at it, I never would want anyone to think, why would she post that? Like, I want people that really know me well to be like, oh, this is Kaz. But then I also want people who don't know me, follow me on social media, and then actually meet me to think, oh, it's quite the same. I would hate for someone that knows me really well or that doesn't know me to meet me or to look at my socials and think, wow, that is two completely different people. So that goes a little bit hand in hand with like what you were saying. Like, I've tried a couple of times with sponsors and this and that, and every time I post, I'm just like, this is just not me. So like, I don't do any of that stuff now. And to be fair, I don't get any offers anymore. But like, even like years ago when it was like, oh, you have to post this much. No, I post as much as I want. Some days I post a lot, and then I'll have a couple of days where I don't post at all because I'm like, just not into it. Not feeling it. So
I've met so many people with completely different personalities that like I could have admired them at one point in my life to meeting them in person and thinking, oh God, you're a completely different person.
And that's what I never want to happen.
But is that in a bad way? Because it can be the other way around as well. Like we all judge, and we all maybe see someone's Instagram before we actually meet them. And you expect people to be one certain way, and whether you like it or not, when you go and meet them, they're different. If it's in a worse way, I kind of get it. But it could be the opposite way. It could be like, before I met you, for example, okay, it could have just been like, I could see your Instagram, didn't really know how to take it, I met you, you're the loveliest person ever, and I love you to bits. So it's happened the other way.
I guess it's not having that expectation over anybody.
But we all do.
But
right?
it's hard not to, because that's what Instagram is for.
Agreed.
Persona that you create, and I think that's kind of like, you know, everyone that puts something out there is creating a narrative, and that's kind of what I mean with like the manipulative side of it. And maybe manipulative isn't the right word, but deceiving image of yourself. So like, if you portray this is the way that you are, but that's actually not the way that you are. And I've maybe just for myself just put a little bit more distance with, like, I'm not trying to portray anything. Like, these are just the things that are important to me, and then take them or leave them, like either way. But
I also think I have not had the opposite experience before. I've always had the, oh, this person seems decent, and then you meet them and you're like, wow, no. So
I've had many situations where
I think
I judge them before.
The other way around.
Me too. And it happens to me a lot as well. It happens to me personally. Like, people think I'm one way, maybe arrogant or whatever it might be, and then they meet me and then change the opinion to the better, thankfully. But when,
I agree with that.
and I get that. I totally get it. But yeah, just meet people in person. It's a lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
We're going to wrap up very shortly. Just before we do, anyone just going to throw out some advice to our listeners, whether it's females training females or women trying to get into fitness, or just anyone listening? What's the best piece of advice you've had, Rach?
Eat food.
It is.
So that's it.
Eat, please. Eat. Enjoy your life. Hello. Write down what you want to achieve, where you want to be in the next year, and then work back from that. Like, it takes so much stress out of your life that you don't need to be frustrated over and it will really, really help you set some goals and
I
actually
feel
achieve them.
like I need to add to that. Like write
Yeah.
down and be honest with yourself what you actually want to achieve. Like if you're writing stuff down and you don't actually mean it, you just think
Yeah.
it should be there because someone else thinks that you should do it, it doesn't belong on that list. Like, get really honest with yourself what you want to achieve.
Well, write down what you want to achieve and work back from that.
Yeah.
Next year, where do I want to be? Even if that's, I want to lose 10 kilos. Okay, how are we going to get there?
So we've got honesty and goal setting. Kaz, you want to add something to that?
Just have fun in the process. It is a process. You're not going to lose 10 kilos in 2 months.
No.
Don't go to a trainer and say, how long will it take me to achieve this? It depends on your work, your consistency. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to sort of enjoy it as well? Don't be so outcome focused.
Yeah, I think we're all very focused. Well, we all have been very focused on the future and what is the future going to give me, but like what you're doing right now and how present you are matters the most. That's your life. Yes, have plans in place for the future and work towards them, but like be present.
But behind every goal, there is another Monday. So like even if you achieve your goal, there's still a Monday to come, and then you're gonna be working on something else. So if you don't enjoy it again, like during your process, you're not gonna.
And have fun.
I like how we're finishing on have fun, because that's another one of Alioth's values. I think Kaz did that on purpose, but we will get to that in more podcasts to come. We're going to finish off with a quick fun question round. I just want you to point at the person. So I ask you one question and just point at the person. Okay? So, listen up. Who trains the hardest? Just point.
No, I'm going to build there.
Okay, so we've established that's Coach Kaz. Please just point, it's not hard. Who has the best taste in music?
Oh, I would say myself.
No, but you get songs from everyone else. You get songs from me, get some from your boyfriend, so I think Kaz wins. Kaz is winning 2-0.
Since when are you a part of this?
Well,
I thought you were the host.
I am the host, so. Who has the best dress sense?
It's a fashion education.
Hey, Rach wins that one, 2-1. Who has the best jokes?
None of us.
Are we funny? I don't think we're funny
I don't think
people.
we're funny, actually.
Okay, we'll
I
skip
don't
on.
understand half the jokes that are being made.
Point at the host. Who spends the longest getting ready?
It's definitely not me.
It's still not that long though.
No, it's
No,
not.
but it's not. But
But
still,
out of us
you're the
three,
longest.
probably you.
Yeah.
Who can eat the most?
I don't know.
Let's just go.
I mean,
I don't want to eat the most, but I'm pretty talented at it.
Alright,
Spend years
let's just go,
practicing.
all three of you.
I
Last
think we're
one.
pretty good at eating.
Who loves coffee more?
Oh my god, I'm gonna point myself out here.
How many coffees do you have a day?
Can I put my hand up?
How many coffees a day?
If I had got to choose,
Yeah. No, on general, like, how many
in
coffees do you have?
general, like I strictly limit myself to 2, but I could definitely
Rach?
make like 10.
No, I have 2 now.
2.
Between 3 and 5.
Oh, so it's obviously...
But
No,
it's not. It's not. No,
loving
this
coffee and there's loving good coffee.
Yeah. And
There
Kaz
is a
drinks Insta
difference.
coffee.
Just make sure
not
you have...
anymore.
In
but-
between your coffee, just make sure you have some free or sparkling water.
Hydrate, dehydrate to rehydrate.
Okay, we'll wrap up there. Thanks for joining me, girls. It's been an absolute pleasure. You look all beautiful today, and it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Has been.
Thanks
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you to our main sponsor, Frio Sparkling Water, and a huge thank you to you watching on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think by dropping a message in the comment section below.